Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the table at a dance competition? Exactly what are the judges looking for anyway? This is Making the Impact, a dance competition podcast. Each week we'll cover a different topic related to the world of competitive dance from the perspective of the judges behind the table. Dancers are athletes, and athletes need proper nutrition to perform at their highest level. Today on Making the Impact, registered dietitian Rebecca Rowley and certified health coach Caroline Lewis-Jones join us for an eye-opening discussion on nutrition for dancers, with actionable advice for feeding our dancers in a more well-rounded and healthy way.
Hey y'all, it's Courtney Ortiz. Welcome to this week's episode of Making the Impact. I'm your host, and I'm here with my co-host, Lesley Mealor.
Hey Courtney, it is how in the world is it the end of March?
The competition season is flying by.
Man, we're like smack in the middle of it. We are 2 days out from our live event at Capizio.
Yes.
So excited.
I know. I'm super excited to meet so many podcast fans. We have so many dancers registered for class with me. I'm teaching a jazz class in New York City, and then we're heading over to the Capizio flagship store, which will be newly renovated. Is that right?
It is. As of currently, while we are recording this, they are renovating as we speak. So
Cool.
By the time we get to March 30th, it will be brand new and beautiful and fabulous. And yeah, I'm super stoked and really excited that it's going to be a full house. So can't wait to see y'all there.
Yes, can't wait to see all of the friends there at our live event. And hopefully, who knows, we might have more live events coming your way soon. So if you're unable to make it to this one, stay tuned. We might have more. You never know.
We might have more. Let us
New York
know
City
if
and
you want
beyond.
that.
Yes, please let us know. And Lesley, we're here talking today about nutrition for dancers. This is a great topic.
It is. I think it's a good spring topic, spring cleaning, doing new things. It feels like the right time to talk about this, not only for the dancers out there, but for the parents out there, because let's be real, when you're a dancer, your parents are the ones that are buying your food.
Yeah.
And kind of deciding what you're eating for the most part. So I think it's going to be a really enlightening episode for everyone, myself included.
Yeah, also, and we all learned about nutrition in health class or foods
Did
class
we?
or so. I mean,
They tried.
They tried and they failed because I remember not paying attention to that class. Like, I was not excited about it. I was like, this is the most boring. I feel like if I had the different mindset, knowing that I'm a dancer who needs to know how to fuel my body properly. And if that was also talked about in my studio setting, not just about make sure
the food
that
pyramid.
Yeah, just reiterating, like, make sure we're eating a healthy, balanced diet to support our dance training. I mean, that's not talked about enough, I think, in studios. And I just didn't have that approach. I was just like, when we got to that class in school, I was like, this is boring. Whereas, like, maybe I would have paid attention and learned something, and maybe it would have changed and shifted my approach to what I wanted to eat while I was heading to dance every night. But that was over 20 years ago at this point, and I can tell you that I ate nothing but junk food growing up.
Well, maybe we'll change that here with this conversation. But before we get to that, I think we have a few other things to talk about.
We do. We have some Making the Impact award winners to announce on the podcast. Like you've heard, we sponsor an award at all IDA-affiliated competition events that have at least one IDA judge on the panel, and they will be able to give out the Making the Impact Judges' Choice Award. It goes to one dance in the entire event that the judges felt made an impact on them through the choreography, technique, performance, execution. Whatever it is, the judges want to recognize you. And one of the perks of being the Making the Impact Award winner is you get a shout out live on our podcast. So Lesley, please feel free to introduce our first winner.
Our first winner this week that we're going to give a shout out to is from Gems Dance Competition in Duluth, Minnesota. Congratulations to Diamond Dance Studio of Willow River, Minnesota for their large group, Trouble.
And from Decca Dance Competition's event in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, congrats to Rahway Dance Theater for their small group, Business of Love. Yay!
Awesome.
Congrats to all of our winners. Thanks for attending an IDA-affiliated competition event, and stay tuned for more winners being announced throughout the season. And before we jump into our episode, let's hear from our sponsors.
Do you ever wish your socks could give you a foot massage while you dance? With Apollo Shocks, consider it done. Snag a pair of their dance compression socks now and use our exclusive podcast promo code IMPACT10 in all caps in the promo box at checkout for 10% off. Your feet will feel like they're on cloud 9. Oh, and P.S. They have a satisfaction guarantee with free returns and exchanges. So you have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Visit apolloperformance.com to order yours now. That's APOLLA performance.com.
If your dancer has a passion for ballet and classical training and wants to attend a unique 7-day summer intensive, then join us at Francisco Gala Danceworks Ballet Plus Intensive. Taking place in sunny Miami, Florida this June 9th through the 15th, 2024. Ballet Plus is an in-depth intensive leading students towards developing a strong technical foundation in ballet, modern, and jazz, with a highly refined and authentic artistic voice. And guess what? If you attend the Ballet Plus Intensive this summer, then you'll also get a chance to dance with me. I'm thrilled to be returning back for my second year teaching jazz and musical theater at this amazing event, and I would love to see you there. The Ballet Plus Intensive is open to intermediate and advanced dancers ages 10 through 22. Come jumpstart your summer training and join us at Ballet Plus with Francisco Gala Danceworks. Use the code MAKINGTHEIMPACT in all caps when registering on their website to receive $75 off tuition at franciscogaladance.com. Thank you to Francisco Gala Danceworks for being our Season 5 premier sponsor. Hope to see you in Miami this summer. All right, everyone, we're jumping into this week's episode, and it's an important one. We're talking about nutrition for dancers and all about how we can fuel our body as dancers to make sure we're able to get through those long competition days, those long convention weekends, and even those long nights at the studio. What types of snacks should we be packing in our dance bag? What type of food should we be incorporating into our diet throughout our time as a training dancer? We are going to talk all about that today on Making the Impact with two brand new guests who are joining us. The first guest that I'm excited to welcome to the pod, I'm meeting for the first time. They were recommended by one of our fabulous IDA judges, Mary Roberts. They are a certified health coach, and they are on faculty with Adrenaline Dance Convention. I'm excited to welcome Caroline Lewis-Jones to the podcast. Welcome, Caroline.
Thank y'all. So excited to be here.
Yay! We're so thrilled to have you. I'm surprised our paths have never crossed in this industry. Hopefully sooner than later, I'll get to meet you, but love that you've been teaching on the convention circuit for so long, and thanks to Mary for connecting us.
Yes. Excited.
Yay! Well, if you wouldn't mind, Caroline, telling us more about you, where you're based, where you grew up, your dance training, and any career credits, and then what you're working on.
Yeah, definitely. So I live in Columbia, South Carolina. I am a mom to 2 little boys. They're almost 10 and almost 8. I'll be 43 next month. I've been teaching in the adrenaline. I've been teaching in the dance circuit for over 20 years. Lived in New York for 6 years. I moved there when I was 18. I left when I was 24. Dance credits, I did some music videos, danced with a bunch of different dance companies in New York. A lot of people know Mia Michaels. I danced with Mia's second company. But yeah, I grew up a competitive dancer, danced at a studio called the Southern Strut here in Columbia, South Carolina. So that's where I grew up training. I taught there. When I moved back from New York, I taught the company there for 6 years and then decided I was ready to, mainly be on the road on the weekends. And I knew that I wanted to start a family. So I wanted to have my weeks free so I could be an Uber driver for my children and take them to soccer practice and do all the things. And then 13 years ago, I got certified as a health coach through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. My journey with that started when I was 8 years old. My mom was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. And, as a child, obviously I was very scared by that. When I was 13, they gave my mom a year to live. They said there's nothing else we can do for her. It spread to different parts of her body. No one had ever talked to us about nutrition. My dad actually was a chef for a while. We went to culinary school, and no one ever spoke about food, real food. And we ate a lot of food, but as you know, we live in the South, and we ate more of the glorified Southern diet, which, as me and Rebecca would probably call it the sad diet. And that's what really moved me into understanding. So we went to this local health food store and we learned about eating more plant-based nutrition. And that's how my journey with all that began. My mom, we literally in 24 hours changed our entire lifestyle in 24 hours. We went 100% plant-based. All I can tell you is that nothing in my mom's regimen changed treatment-wise, except for that she lived for 10 more years. We ate a lot of plants, a lot of colors of the rainbow. When I moved to New York, my mom did revert back to her Southern ways. So who knows, but it did go to her brain. And she passed away when I was 25. So when mom passed away, I made this vow that I was going to just live my life, and help people with prevention. And obviously I'm a dance teacher and educator that way. And I have a lot of families that come to me and they're like, Caroline, what do you do for yourself? How can I get more fruits and vegetables, into my children? What are healthy snacks to eat? So I've definitely dedicated, not my entire life, but a lot of my life to helping these families. And then I partnered with a company called the Juice Plus Company 20 years ago. So that's been a huge journey of mine as well. So I share Juice Plus during the week. I'm a mom. And then on the weekends, I turn into the jazz, musical theater, contemporary teacher. Yeah.
Love it.
Nice.
Wow. You are doing so many things and all the good things for our dance world. So thank you so much for that. And thanks for joining us here.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. Our next special guest is a brand new guest to our podcast. And I discovered them on Instagram. They're doing some great things on the social media community for our dance world when it comes to nutrition in dance. They are a registered dietitian nutritionist who specializes in sports nutrition for dancers and young athletes. I'm excited to welcome Rebecca Rowley to the podcast. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and chat with nutrition with you guys.
Yes, and thanks for squeezing us into your busy schedule. I know that it was a tough one to squeeze in, but we made it happen and you're here, and I'm so excited to meet you and learn more about you. So same thing, if you can tell us more, where you're based, what your dance training was like, and what you're working on now.
Yes, 100%. So I am currently in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm originally from California, moved to Nashville about 5 years ago. I'm starting to pick up a little bit of the Southern twang. I hear myself in this echoey room. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to sound a little bit more Southern than my roots. But grew up in California, dancing on the Central Coast, a little bit in LA, did a little bit of conventions growing up, danced through college with a contemporary dance company, and ended up getting injured in my last year and stopped dance after that related to the injury. So growing up in the dance world, I had always wished that I had someone to teach me nutrition strategies to support my body, support athletic performance, decrease injury risk, and stuff like that. So after getting that injury, becoming a dietitian, I really dove into the sports nutrition world. I ended up working with Georgia football for a little bit, completely different area of sports nutrition. And then after moving to Nashville, I now work at a high school with some elite high school athletes. And our school doesn't have a performing arts program. So I've really had a gap in my heart. So I decided to start a private practice focusing on nutrition for dancers. So I just dove into that. I absolutely love it so much. Really teaching the sports nutrition piece and applying the literature to the dance world with growth and development, decreasing injury risk, supporting a good, positive, healthy relationship with food, getting in lots of those fruits and vegetables and fiber and all of that stuff, especially at a young age, is so important. So that's what I am doing now. And yeah, absolutely love it.
Yes.
Very cool.
And you recently said you got married. Is that true?
I did last summer. Yes. We got married in Greece. It was so much fun, an absolute whirlwind. And we're going back again this summer and I can't wait.
Wow.
Jealous.
Yep.
Awesome.
Super jealous of that. Sounds like a fairy tale wedding.
It was great.
Awesome. Well, y'all, this is so exciting. I'm so happy to have you both. Let's jump in and chat all about nutrition.
Awesome. All right, here we go. So we heard a little bit about how both of y'all got into nutrition for dance. I guess for our parents who are listening, everybody wants to feed their children healthy food. And, I think that's kind of a given when you're starting out with kids. But why is it specifically important for dancers and athletes? And, I think dancers are athletes. So dancers who are athletes to understand nutrition for what we do. Why is that imperative in our industry?
Yeah. So as an athlete, you're placing extra demands on your body on top of kind of your quote, average regular person. And a lot of those demands tie back to increased demands in nutrition. So, with the intense training that's going on now, the long hours in the studio, the traveling, competitions, conventions, whatever it is, you're having increased breakdown of muscle, you're having extra wear and tear in the body, some extra inflammation that's present. it's a completely natural process. And we do want those things to occur, but it's important that we have the nutrition to back it up and really support the development of the full athlete with their potential. So I think that, for the longest time, like, dancers weren't viewed as athletes. They're kind of put in this like performing artist box, which they are, but we also have to recognize how physically demanding dance is and how they are truly athletes. So it's really important to feel like one.
And I think a lot of parents too, I think just truly there's a lack of education with what real food is. And we just live in such an ultra processed world now of fake bioengineered food, So it's like getting back to the roots of real food, of, what are healthy complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, healthy protein? What's the difference between macronutrition, micronutrition, which the micronutrition part for me is actually my jam and what I love and what I was not educated on. I was a personal trainer in New York, and everybody always talked about macros. And about 11 years ago, when I learned about this word micronutrition, I was like, oh, and I can talk about that if you want me to, but that was like what dove me into like, oh, this is the prevention part of it. So I think there's a lack of...
Can you go a little bit into that?
Yeah, definitely.
Like sort of layman's terms, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And what Rebecca was just speaking about as well, when she was talking about damage in the body, and then I'll go back to macros, is when we exercise, us just sitting here and breathing right now, we're creating something called oxidative stress. And you know when you cut open an apple and it browns? The best way to think about your body when you exercise or when we're pregnant, we're breathing, we're creating a human being, is we're creating tons of extra oxidative stress. So breathing is essential, but there's a byproduct of it. And that's called a free radical. And those free radicals cause damage inside of our bodies. So now you're looking at these 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds. I mean, I know 8-year-olds that train 15 hours a week. It's crazy. Yeah, right. And they're awesome, but they're training like little Olympians. Unfortunately, they're doing a lot of internal damage that we don't see. They may have the muscles and the 6-pack and the 8-pack or whatever, but that doesn't define health anymore. It's like what's on the inside. So I talk about that apple because when you cut that apple, oxygen hits it, it browns. So I kind of explain that to parents. I'm like, this is what happens inside of our bodies when we exercise and train really hard. But the thing that combats oxidation and helps repair those cells is antioxidants. And those antioxidants come from plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, berries. So, and that's really the only place you're going to find them. You can find it in some animal protein, but for the most part, a lot of those antioxidants are going to come from plants. And what's the one thing that kids don't eat? A lot of them,
right?
They say 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Wow. I don't really talk about servings with my friends. I talk about colors. I always say, count your colors, not your calories, because as dancers, we don't need to count our calories. We need to count our colors, and because to me, that's the protection part. And I think as an older athlete, because I'm still training pretty hard, I would say that I feel better now at 43 than I did in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think it's because I understand now like how my temple works from the inside out. And everybody's body is different too. Like what Rebecca's body might need is different than mine, right? Sure. That's called bio-individuality. And I'm vegan. I'm 100% plant-based, and not everybody, that's not for everybody. And that's not something that I promote with my dancers. But what I do promote is that no one gets enough plants. No one gets enough protection. No one gets enough fiber. I love protein, but we're a very, protein obsessed society. So I think the fiber part is so key. And then I'll be quiet. I'm going to talk about the macros and the micros, and I'll let Rebecca jump in. So macros are those bananas right there, that apple sitting right there. That's going to be your healthy complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, healthy proteins, right? So think about your food that you eat each day, But the micronutrition is the enzymes, the phytonutrients, the flavonoids, the carotenoids, all these the components that make up this food. And that's the protection part that's going to help heal our bodies from the inside out. And to me as an athlete, and we're seeing this more in at the Olympic the United States Olympic Training Center in Charlotte that our community is partnered with, we're seeing that those that focus more on their micronutrition, they have more advantages. Their gains. They have those micro gains. So That's the part that like I'm really intrigued by and that I love. And of course, how do you do it in the kitchen? You know, that's a big part of what I do, which we'll talk about later. But that's the micro part that no one really talks about. It's like under the iceberg. You see the top of the iceberg, but what's underneath the ocean, that to me, that like fuels and builds, but under here, this is the protection part. And that's the most important part for me.
Wow. I want to second what Caroline is saying. I think that, so if we look at like extremes on the end of the spectrum, like if you're just looking at macronutrients, you know, you can meet your protein needs from eating a bunch of protein powder. And, you know, you can meet your fat needs by including like a bunch of butter or bacon or, you know, all these things, but you're missing out on the micronutrients. I've recently dived a lot into minerals and how important minerals are for our thyroid health, blood sugar balance, our stress response, so many things. You're missing out on those key elements that are needed to have a long and healthy career. So we want, you know, a wide variety of foods, lots of color, that fiber, you know, whole grains, stuff like that to build up that micronutrient, that mineral and vitamin profile while still, you know, macronutrients are important. Like we do need proteins, we do need fats, we do need carbohydrates, but like the choices within each of those categories are really important and crucial to help, you know, fully support the body.
Because what you're seeing too, I love that, Rebecca. What you're seeing is, I know, at least for me, every weekend I'm, you know, in an airplane and traveling to different parts of the country. And I would say 95, and you too, Courtney, 95% of these kids, what they're consuming is not protecting them. Yes, they have to have food. I get it. And a lot of these facilities, you know, they don't have nice options. So it's us helping these parents realize how can we set them up for success that Thursday before they fly out, or they drive their car to the convention center, the competition, or go to the dance intensive in the summer. I feel like I've mastered that with my cooler every weekend on a plane. You know, it's just because you never know what you're going to get.
Sure.
And a lot of these kids are eating Chick-fil-A for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Totally.
And I'm so happy that they have that food to eat because we have to eat. But again, these are like high level, athletes that we're working with. And at the end of the day, we're doing more damage. So we're damaging by moving our body and like training this hard. But now we're giving ourselves these macros, right? That, you know, Rebecca was just talking about that really, if you break it down, really have no micronutrition at all. So it's like just empty calories, basically.
Right. Well, speaking of that, I want to hear, Rebecca, a little bit from you in your work, not only with athletes at the collegiate level and the high school level, but also with dancers. You know, so you're thinking about a kid who's putting, you know, let's just call it crap in their bodies before class during the week versus what would happen in the studio if they were putting some good stuff into their bodies. Do you see like an active change sometimes when you're working with people on an individual basis? Like, are they seeing change? Because I think that's going to be, you know, nothing is immediate, but we want immediate gratification. Social media shows us that, oh, look at that 8-year-old. She can do 15 pirouettes. Okay, well, she had to do some things to get there. You only saw the end result. Same thing here. I think people, myself sometimes included, like, well, I ate a salad. Why didn't that do anything for me? You know, there's that mindset of wanting things to just happen. How long do you feel like it takes, and what does it take to make that change, to see a difference in your training and your output?
Our Season 5 premier sponsor, Francisco Gala Danceworks, will be hosting a unique 7-day intensive this summer in Miami, Florida. Ballet Plus is an in-depth intensive leading students towards developing a strong technical foundation in ballet, modern, and jazz, with a highly refined and authentic artistic voice. Intermediate and advanced dancers ages 10 through 22 are able to attend this exciting week-long event with over 60 hours of dancing from an exceptional faculty, including Francisco Gala, Usha Marie Sorzano, and even me, Courtney Ortiz. Dancers will take a variety of different classes like ballet, pointe, musical theater, modern dance with live percussion, Horton, contemporary, conditioning, Pilates, repertoire, and so much more. Parents will even have a chance to sit in and watch certain classes throughout the week, and all dancers are eligible for scholarships to future Francisco Gala Danceworks intensives. After teaching at the Ballet Plus Intensive last year for my first time, I was blown away by the amazing training these dancers were receiving throughout the week and the high-quality education from all of the instructors. I highly recommend attending this intensive to up your technique game and elevate your training. Mark your calendars to attend Ballet Plus from June 9th through the 15th, 2024, and register now to receive $75 off tuition with our exclusive podcast promo code. Use the code MAKINGTHEIMPACT in all caps when registering for a Ballet Plus intensive at franciscogeladance.com.
Okay, you brought up a lot of really interesting points here. Okay,
a lot of questions. I have so many questions. This is mostly for myself.
Me too. I'm learning so much.
First, diving into, you mentioned the social media piece, and I have a feeling this will come up again a little bit later, but just to kind of dive into that, like what Caroline was mentioning earlier, there are so many different approaches to nutrition, and what works for one person may work for another, or it may not. And we're so bio-individual and like what our bodies need and what energy systems we need to support. So, going on social media and looking for advice from, and this is not to discredit anyone. I don't want it to sound like that, but, if there is someone who's an 8-year-old who's doing, 10 pirouettes and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to be just like them. And then they post a what I eat in a day video, or, this is what my breakfast looks like, or something like that. I think we can kind of get into a tricky situation where we're trying to apply someone else's nutrition to our own bodies without knowing actually what our own body needs. So just a little plug to be careful with social media and what information you're getting from there, and make sure that the nutrition sources that you're getting your info from are credible and come from an educated individual who, can tailor info to meet your individual needs. Back to the piece of like how long this takes and all of that. It really just depends on the person. Like if you have someone who comes in who is, like you said, just eating, fast food every single day, skipping meals, which I see a lot, not drinking enough water, like they literally don't have the nutrition foundation. They can see improvements very quickly because, once we start introducing more of those colors, those fruits and veggies, the fiber, more timed carbohydrates around exercise, eating consistently, just like little changes here and there, they can really start to feel a difference in their energy levels in the studio. I don't know if, you've ever been training really hard and all of a sudden you kind of hit a wall, like your hands get really shaky. You might start like kind of blacking out a little bit. Like that can be a combination of things. But one of the first things that comes to my mind is improper nutrition, whether it's the timing or what you're eating. It can be a whole bunch of different things. So, building from no nutrition foundation to including a few things, you can feel the impact of that very quickly. If you have a great nutrition foundation and there's certain things you're looking to improve, like, maybe it's energy on really long convention weekends where you don't have a ton of time to eat in between classes and stuff, those like more refined things can take a little bit more time, especially if we're looking at repleting certain deficiencies and stuff like that. Like our body, it takes time to do that, to build the gut microbiome, stuff like that. So yeah, there's kind of a spectrum that lives on, but I would say the average person that I work with does experience some sort of improvement in their symptoms and their energy and their mental focus and clarity during class, ability to pick up and retain choreo pretty quickly, which is really cool. Nutrition has such a big impact on our body and how we perform. So having, I wouldn't say it's instant gratification, but within a few weeks being able to feel a difference is pretty cool.
And to hear that it helps brain health too. Obviously a lot of people are my dancers are struggling to pick this up and they're not focused in class. And it's that, who knows, that could be a contributing factor as to why they aren't. If they switch up their diet, then maybe that could help with that brain health in class to process everything quicker and better and more efficiently and be more focused for that whole hour-long class. It's interesting to hear that. I didn't even think of it like that. I just always think about the rest of the body, but the brain is a part of it.
Yeah, it's hard to be focused if your body's depleted,
Yeah. And there's a huge correlation too, in connection with the microbiome, like Rebecca was saying, in our brains. And pretty much everything in our body is like created in the gut. So, and especially, these kids that I saw a huge, especially during COVID, there was a lot of families that I was speaking with that their kids were experiencing depression, ADD, ADHD, like you saw a lot of more of this coming up. And it's fascinating to see when you can get real food into the body. Like she said, it's pretty quickly. I mean, I can vouch for myself. Like I remember my dance teacher, Nancy, when I was 13, she was like, "What are you doing different?" I was like, "Well, we kind of went plant-based,
in like 1995 or whatever year this was, like,
well, right.
Which wasn't really happening, right?
No, not at all. But it was just interesting because at that time, I thought that going home and just chugging orange juice was healthy, right?
Right.
Or I would eat like stovetop stuffing before I went to dance. Yes. And so now, no, for real. And now I'm getting like actual real food into my body. And it was amazing what happened. That's when I immediately made the change. I remember when I was 15, I was like, I will never go back. I was like, this is what it feels like to feel alive, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so eye-opening for me because
and in school.
I still eat garbage food.
Well, guess what? This is your aha moment, girl. This is your aha moment.
Yeah.
Yes. It
no
is
more Mountain Dew and waffles.
I used to only drink Mountain Dew and eat waffles, hot dogs, chicken nuggets.
When I met Courtney Ortiz, so Courtney, yes. How Courtney and I know each other is our very first professional job on Royal Caribbean. We worked together and we were roommates. But in rehearsal, I had just come out of college, but she had just come out of high school. So Courtney, first time on her own, she comes to, to Florida for rehearsals. We go to Publix to go to the grocery store, and Courtney, her grocery cart is literally full of Mountain Dew and waffles. And I'm looking at her bottles. Like, what? And but like, you didn't know any better. You had no idea. It just, you had the caffeine, you had the carbs. It was like, let's go.
Like, crazy. Yeah. I mean, and I will say, I will admit, and my boyfriend makes fun of me still to this day, like, I still eat garbage food. Like, I have a bagel I eat a bagel probably at least 4 times a week in New York City. They're just so good. I can't give it up. Like, there's so many things that I just cannot give up. And I'm sure so many people are probably thinking the same thing listening. Like, man, I really wish I could eat more vegetables. And I wish I could eat better like this, but it's so hard. And I'm addicted to bread, or I love sugar, or whatever it is. Like, we all feel those things. I feel the same way. I know I should be better at fueling my body as a dancer. And granted, I'm not dancing on the regular anymore as much as these kids are. I'm not in the studio like from 10 to 6 in a rehearsal process like when I'm a professional dancer. Right now, I'm similar to Caroline. I'm on the road, and that's also hard. Like you said, it's hard to find the right food and the right meals, even for the adults on the road. Then, we have these kids who have fast food surrounding them at whatever venue they're at. The concession stand at the events are just serving nothing but fried chicken tenders and a nasty hamburger, and that's all you get. And if you don't have enough time to run out and find something that's more healthy, and that's also probably going to be really expensive at the hotel or whatever, then that's what the parents decide to do because it's convenient. It's quick, convenient, and cheap. And
like you said, Caroline, that you have to eat. And so I think that's like, there's probably a little bit of a feeling of a stigma of, well, I just need to feed my kid. That is fair. You know what I mean? Like, we hear you. I hear you. We absolutely. And I think the question is, how do we do this cost effectively? And like, you have kids. How do you get them to eat what they need to eat? There's like, I've babysat kids who are just on hunger strikes, and they're like, no, macaroni and cheese or nothing.
Yeah. I know for myself, like, I did start the boys really young. I mean, like, really in conception, right. But ever since they were young, I've always introduced foods to them at very, very young ages. We grow a lot of our own food here at the house, like all of our lettuces and herbs.
Oh, cool.
And again, that's an advantage, and I get that. That's a choice that I make. I love to garden, and I like to know, well, that's another reason that's important to me. The food part is like, I want to know where my food comes from. That's very important to me. Not everybody cares about that, and I get it. And 98% of the world doesn't have time to do that, and they don't want to. I make that a part of my life. And I've just created like very small habits over the past 20 years that have just kind of compounded. So I do believe that small, simple changes are the key to this for the parents and for our older dancers or professional dancers that are listening. You definitely can't do all these big changes at once, right? I always say, like, try to get 5 colors on your plate every day. Are you drinking good, clean water? How much sleep are you getting every single night? Are you staring at your phone, right before you go to bed? I try to put this off at least an hour and a half before I go to bed. Just little things like that can compound right into this awesome effect. But for me, what I do you want to hear what I do on like the weekends?
Sure.
Like what helps me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a cooler. It's somewhere. Oh, it's outside drying out. I have a cooler that I take on the plane. People think you can't take ice on a plane, but you can. So it just has to be encapsulated. Or I'll take ice packs that they just have to stay frozen. So if you're not checking a bag, you might have to throw them away because they can't go through TSA. But I do what's called salad in a jars. So I bring 4 to 5 32-ounce mason jars, and I fill them with different stuff. It could be, a pasta with marinara with chicken in it. The other one could be roasted vegetables, brown rice, black beans, salmon. I don't know. I'm just making up some different things. So I make up different jars, and then I do something called overnight oats. I forgot y'all can't see me. I was going to show you. Right. I do something called overnight oats. They're in the fridge right now, but they're small pint-sized jars. And so I put my oats, flax seeds, chia seeds, all kinds of fun stuff, nuts, dates chopped up. And then right before I go to bed at night, I pour water on them. I shake it, and then I put it in the fridge. So I've got overnight oats. I travel with lots of trail mix. I travel with a lot of apples, oranges, grapefruits. I'll even sometimes just make wraps, just easy. You could just do hummus, turkey, lettuce, your favorite vegetables, roll it up. That could be, great ideas to go. Yeah. So quick and simple and efficient. But like this weekend, I was in Detroit. I think I paid for 2 cups of coffee and that was it. But I had all my food. I also travel with a mini blender. Nice. Now I keep this on the truck for the adrenaline, but it's a small blender. And so I make a smoothie every single day. And yeah, I would normally always want to get my protein from a real source, something that's not processed, but there is some different smoothie mixes that I love and that I think are fantastic that I've used for a while. So I'll put, my smoothie mix in there. I'll do water. I'll do maybe like a scoop of, I travel peanut butters or almond butters. I'll throw in a banana. I'll go get some ice from the hotel ice place and I'll blend up and make a smoothie before I judge.
Yep.
So it's definitely doable. It takes me exactly 1 hour. Okay. I do it every Wednesday or Thursday before I fly out. It takes exactly an hour. And that is how I prep. So if your kid loves pasta, that's an awesome, make a big tub of cold pasta that they get or a pasta salad that they love. You could have like a container of grilled chicken or, grilled chicken. I'm just use that for example. You could have a big bowl of just cut up fruit, grapes, strawberries, orange slices. So there's a way to do it. Yeah. It's just like, what foods do your kids like? And then working with like me and Rebecca to help you get ideas there, to help you, get creative there. But it really is doable, I promise. It takes effort and it takes time. Everybody, and I'm being really transparent here. Everybody are honest. Everyone tells me they don't have time. And I'm like, you know what? Everybody has time. Mm-hmm. Stop scrolling your phone. Yes. Stop.
That's the answer.
Staring at other kids, dancers on Instagram. Get yourself together and take the hour and get yourself prepped. Because I always say you can't make excuses and you can't complain about it unless you take action. Yeah. So doing something about it. And that's why people like me and Rebecca are here to help you figure out what works for you and your family and what foods do you like, getting creative that way. So we empower you to make the time. Everyone has 30 minutes a day. If you say you don't, then I say evaluate where your time's going.
I'm about to hire y'all.
I know, right?
It's a hard one, but it is. I am the older I get, I'm just excuses. So
yeah.
I just make, and because what happens? What's going to eventually happen? Someone's going to get sick. And then what happens? Then your time is gone, right?
Yeah.
You can't go to the competition. You can't spend time with your family. You can't be with your parents, all those things. So time is the most important thing we have with the people we love the most. And so let's make those small changes now with our health. And we know that food affects every aspect of our physiology. So do it now, right? It's so worth it. It's so worth it. And it's fun. It can be stressful, don't get me wrong. The kid that throws the food at you, I'm not eating that, But there are there are little tools and tricks that, you can do to help with that. And you can change the programming of a child as well. That's called metabolic programming. You can start to get kids to crave more fruits and vegetables. There's things that I know that I do that have been very helpful over the years.
If you think about it too, like within the just looking at like the weekend of traveling, you're also saving yourself time while you're at the competition or the convention. You're not having to think about like where you're going to get food from, what's close by, spending extra money on food delivery apps. You're hungry in the time being, your driver doesn't know how to find the hotel entrance. Just there's so many things that come up on those weekends. And if you already have, maybe not all of your food with you, but a lot of it, something where you can fill in those gaps, you are light years ahead of everyone else. Yeah. So I love that. I was just going to mention too that, back to like the Mountain Dew and the waffles and stuff, like everyone starts somewhere. And that's the beauty in all of this is like, you can live on Mountain Dew and waffles, and that like wherever you start, that is okay. As long as you're, introducing some new foods, increasing food variety, little bit by little bit, that's perfectly fine. And, a big part of my coaching as well is to teach dancers how to have a positive relationship with food and eating. Like we're not going to the extreme of like, okay, now we're cutting out all of these things and like being super strict, no flexibility. Like the reality of it all is food is used for so many things other than fueling for dance. It's used for, celebrations, there's cake at birthdays, there's, you're going over to your aunt's house for, dinner, there's Thanksgiving, like, and you should have flexibility in your fueling to include those things and not feel any guilt. It's just when we're in these, very intense situations where we're demanding a lot of our body, most of the week, we're choosing those very nourishing foods and really supporting the repair that needs to happen from, the damage from exercise and stuff. So it's a balance of it all. Everyone starts somewhere. Even if you're headed off to a competition this weekend and you want to include some of these ideas, like start with one, pick one thing and incorporate it, see how it goes, and then make adjustments from there.
Yeah. Like I love that. I dealt with, this could be a whole nother podcast, but I dealt with some orthorexia many, many, many years ago. Just body dysmorphia by one thing that one person said to me when I was 19 years old. I've always had a very positive mindset and body image, and just that one little thing triggered me. So I've had to work very hard to get back to that place. And going off what Rebecca said too, I think a great idea, instead of bringing for your kids, like, how sometimes they have like the 5 minutes in between every class, especially the younger dancers, they might give them those extra 5 minutes. Instead of bringing like Cheez-Its, right? Or goldfish, which if you truly look at that, they're not actual food. I mean, there's really not much in there that's giving any nourishment to our children, right? Ask your kids, like, what crunchy stuff do you like? Like, let's talk about crunchy stuff. And then like, let's look for some brands of a different, something of that same similar idea that might still give them that satisfaction, right? But it's not a goldfish, right? I also, for parents, I actually have had some studios incorporate this, which is pretty cool. But like, let's say that the four of us we each are at the same competition. We all go to the same studio. I'm going to bring a massive bowl of pasta salad. Mm. Rebecca's going to bring a massive thing of cut up fruit. Courtney, you are going to bring tons of cut up raw vegetables with some ranch. And Lesley, you're going to bring a bunch of energy bites that we're going to teach you how to make. Great. Because they're nourishing and they're sweet and they're awesome, but they're going to be like a treat, right? So I think there's ways to like divvy up the work too. I've done that with the soccer teams, even with my kids, and it's been neat. It's been empowering those moms also to like be like, oh wait, I can do this. Okay, this is easy, and then it makes it easier for everybody in time wise.
Do you have any advice on the cost of eating healthy? I feel like that's one of the reasons, or could be an excuse, but also not. I mean, legitimate. It most of the time it costs more money to eat healthier. Like the bad foods are cheaper and the healthy foods are more expensive. It's just kind of what it is. I mean, I definitely think there are ways to figure out how it can financially work with what you have available to you with your funds. But at the same time, I know I've struggled. And granted, like I've gotten way better at eating better occasionally, but it's not consistent.
I haven't seen a Mountain Dew in your house in a while.
Oh, I haven't had that since the cruise ship days. I got rid of that really quickly.
I know.
But I still I love Coca-Cola. It's that's a treat to me every now and then. But I will try to throw in some salads here and there and whatever. And I know I should be better overall. But I know as someone who lives in New York City and everything's expensive, that even just bad food's expensive. So then when I want to eat better food, I'm well, that's double the price to try to incorporate that. And I'm sure that a lot of parents probably feel the same way. They're already spending so much money on dance training in general, on all of these expenses to travel. And now I also have to figure out how to budget healthier options into my kids' diet. Do you have any advice on how to eat healthy on a budget?
So again, this is being me really honest. And then I'll go into the more practicality of it. So I'm a true believer that if you don't pay attention to what's happening right now, the cost later is going to be much, much greater, whether that is actual physical illness or loss or whatever that might be. So to me, I'm always looking at it perspectively wise of, yes, eating real food in our country, yes, is more expensive, which is hilarious because if you go to Nairobi in Africa, expensive food is processed food. Cheap food is fruits and vegetables.
Wow.
So our country just has it way backwards. And again, that's a whole nother episode. That's infuriating. But things when I lived in New York, Courtney, you know what I did? I'll never forget this. Me, Lauren Adams, Tara, my best friend, we would literally get 2 rotisserie chickens every week. Mm-hmm. We would make a big thing of couscous or quinoa. And then we'd make 2 big salads. And literally, we would eat on that for 6 days.
Wow.
Saturday was always our night of go out on the town, party, have fun. But we truly did that. And then we'd make our own egg sandwiches in the morning, with our English muffins.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of it has to come back to effort and just actually wanting to cook it. And again, I get it. Not everybody likes to cook. I enjoy that. I think great cost-effective ways in the kitchen. Beans are very inexpensive, and beans are fantastic for the body. Wonderful complex carbohydrates, wonderful healthy protein. So canned beans. Or I bought yesterday from Publix just a bag of organic black beans dried, which you just soak and you cook them. But it will literally give me this much black beans for the week.
Wow.
And it was $3.
Wow.
$3.
Great.
I'll take my rice cooker. Mondays are usually my day of prep, like today. I will take my rice cooker and you could cook 4 cups of brown rice or 4 cups of quinoa. I mean, that will last you for sure all week. Probably. I mean, if you've got 2 big boys that are starting to grow like mine, they eat like grown men now, but and then I'll take 2 cookie sheets and I roast, vegetables on them. So there are ways to do it. But at the end of the day, I just always go back to, and I've actually said this to some parents before too. I'm really sit down and look at where your budget is going. Are you buying unnecessary extra dance clothes that are not really necessary? Are you letting your kid get their nails done every 3 weeks? I know this sounds crazy and this is the way my brain works, but food is that important to me. But I've also seen how food has been so detrimental to so many people in my life too, and has literally ruined their health. I don't spend money on good, on expensive clothes. I just don't. I don't care. I have a few nice outfits. I spend money on the quality of the food that I eat because at the end of the day, my body is my most important thing in my life. It's my temple. So I want to give it the best of the best. So, yeah.
So great. Hey dancers, we know the fatigue struggle is real, but guess what? ApolloShocks help delay that pesky fatigue, letting you focus on your performance. They've done the tests and they're proven to keep you dancing longer and stronger. ApolloShocks have changed my dance life. Seriously, these socks offer benefits that are backed by science and loved by some of the top dancers in the biz, including yours truly. And we have an exclusive podcast promo code to offer to our Making the Impact listeners. Use the code IMPACT10 in all caps at checkout for 10% off your new pair of ApolloShocks. Don't worry, they offer free returns and exchanges, so there's zero risk. Visit their website at apolloperformance.com. That's APOLLA performance.com.
I like what you mentioned about like the legumes. So like beans, lentils, those are going to be very inexpensive. Brown rice, very inexpensive. Some like organic oats, pretty inexpensive as well. And then even, if we're looking at produce, like fresh versus frozen, a lot of like frozen produce has very similar nutritional value to fresh produce. A lot of it's frozen at the peak of freshness. Yes. So a lot of people will glance over the frozen vegetable section because, they think, oh, like it has a bad reputation. There are things in there that have a lot of extra stuff added in them that it's just not needed. But if you look at just, the frozen broccoli, the frozen cauliflower, the, frozen green beans, like those frozen bell peppers, it's a really, really great way to get some bell peppers in so you don't have to cut them all up. A lot of those can be more cost effective than looking at produce, especially if your produce is out of season. A lot of times, like, certain vegetables will become more expensive during certain times of the year because they're out of season. They're bringing them in from farther away, and frozen can be a really great option as well. So just something else to think about and consider. I would say generally fresh fruit is less expensive than frozen fruit.
Yes.
And, great options like bananas, those are always very cost effective. Apples, great options, citrus. And then beyond that, looking at what's in season, like if you can grab some berries, that's fantastic. Lots of great polyphenols in there, have a lot of nutritional value. So yeah, just you kind of have to get creative and kind of piece some things together, maybe between fresh and frozen, but you'll get a very similar nutritional value either way.
And I think
I'm glad you said that.
That's important too is planning. Like I, even just for myself and my boyfriend, if I plan my week of meals, we're not going to go out and get the Indian food that, he wants. But I'm like, no, we have this, this, and this. What do you want? Because I can make these things and they're healthy. But it like, I find that when I don't like plan my week meal wise, it just goes to the trash can. Like, because I don't have the willpower. I can't I have to do it every week. Otherwise it's gone. And then there goes the week I had of like really good meals planned. Because I just didn't take the, like you said, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, to kind of plan it out, do some meal prep on Sunday. And I think that's something that's, this is only for me and my boyfriend. But if you got a family of 4, it might take you a little bit longer, but it will be that much more beneficial because you're feeding all these people, in a week.
No, Lesley, I love that. What I do is I do 1 crock pot meal a week. Mm-hmm. We have taco night every week. Tacos are so fun and easy, and kids love tacos, and you can do so many cool things. Like my boys like to put sweet potatoes in their tacos now. Yeah. Like I might do ground beef. I might do organic, grass-fed organic beef for them, and I might do tofu for me. But we all have sauteed mushrooms and sweet potatoes inside our tacos with cheese,
Sounds
so
great.
Guacamole on top. So making it fun. And I think incorporating your kids too as much as you can. It's easier when they're younger. I want to stir that, but teaching them some of those tactics I think is really fun and nice. But crock pots, or moms that are listening, a crock pot.
Don't sleep on the crock pot.
Yes, or an Instant Pot. And there's so many amazing recipes out there. I mean, there's a lot of amazing recipes out there too. A lot of saturated fat. So, you got to look at them a little bit. But if y'all need help in that wheelhouse, I have hundreds of recipes that I go to that are so yummy and so good.
I can't wait to eat healthy.
I know. It sounds
Courtney.
so great.
I learned so much in this episode. I'm so inspired. I am motivated. I'm going to plan. I need to be better at my time management. No excuses. I want to eat.
But also, listen, Courtney, I feel like you kind of have a lot of excuses that are valid and real because Courtney's literally never anywhere but on a plane or sitting in this chair.
But no, if Caroline can do it, I can do it. She does the same thing as me, and she raises two boys. Are you kidding me? I can do it. I just need to be better at it. I hope everyone else is feeling the same thing.
It's just just make the small changes. Like Rebecca said too, just
gradual.
These tiny, and the consistency compounds into this beautiful rainbow. I promise.
I know that and I'm sure other people can relate, but I, as a dancer, I've always felt like that I've been happy with how my body feels and looks, that I've never really needed to adjust my diet much. And I will occasionally eat healthier things here and there and know I need to do better. But then I go back to my old ways because I'm okay with it, and I don't feel those effects yet. And I know it's going to catch up to me. I know it's going to. And now I'm 35 and I'm just, still waiting. Like, it's going to catch up to me. And I think that's the important thing to like continue to reiterate. If we can get this education out there into the minds of parents who have training dancers now, whereas like we didn't know that back in the 90s and the early 2000s. There's so much more education now when it comes to nutrition, and there's so many more healthy options that are available and accessible way more than 20 years ago at this point. So now we can already be making progress for the kids who are living this, so they can continue on with that healthy lifestyle into their adulthood, and educating the parents like we're here and having these conversations. I wish that I had that education, and I feel like that I wasn't even opened up to any type of different food until I moved to New York City, because I lived in a small town in Maryland that had 7-Eleven and McDonald's down the street. And that was it. And like, we drank whole milk and, white bread and all, just the normal things that you eat when you're raised in the middle of nowhere, wherever. And then I come to New York City and everything's, it's healthy and there's so many different types of foods to eat. And you just you finally realize, oh, wow, there's more food out there that I can actually enjoy and also might be better for my body.
Yeah. I think that's important to note too. And if anyone is listening, and again, I never thought about these things until I became a mom. And now that I have friends that, might struggle monetarily, or I've met families that live in areas like food deserts where they don't have access to this food, to real food. So I think that's why it is important. Like, reach out to me, Rebecca. Like, if you just need some ideas and like, what are ways that, we can help you, even start like a small garden, like little inexpensive things that you can do to feel empowered and to give you those tools for success that way, just to even start. And if you plant the seed, it will start to grow, like literally. And figuratively.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I've seen it happen. But so, because again, not everybody has those means and accessibility. So that is important to note that. But there are ways to do it in inexpensive ways. Yeah.
I want to hop in here real quick. And I know we've been talking a lot about like food, and which is great. I always get questions about supplements. And when we're looking at like cost effectiveness, like food is going to be where you should start. Don't worry about the supplements. Don't spend the money on the supplements, whether that's protein powder, or I've had some teen dancers talk to me and ask me about pre-workout before. Like, don't spend your money on those things. Focus first on food, and that's where you're going to see the biggest return, and prioritizing that first.
Love that advice. That's wonderful. Y'all, what a great chat. I seriously learned so much. Lesley, did you learn a lot?
Yes. And listen, I have literally actually been looking for some help with this because, like Courtney said, Courtney just turned 35. She still feels great about her body. I have just turned 39, and gone are the days where I didn't have to work out and didn't have to, say it. I am struggling now. And for anybody out there, like, you're not alone when you're like, I think I'm doing okay. I think I'm eating properly. I think I'm on this right path, but you don't feel any different. You don't see any difference. And it becomes frustrating. And like, don't feel bad about you feeling that way, number one, but wanting to reach out and get some help, because like Caroline and Rebecca said, this is what they were in school for. This is what they got certified for. This is what they love to do, is help people understand how to take care of their body better. So y'all going to be hearing from me, first of all. And secondly, anybody out there, you're not alone. This is eating well, I think, is hard. We live in a world that doesn't make it easy for us to do this. The easier thing is to reach for the crap. The easier thing is to go to the drive-thru. And that's a really hard thing to get past, for a lot of people. So don't feel bad about it. No shame in your game, but know that, there's resources out there that are here to help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun. Like, once you like get into your rhythm, you'll find it, and you're like, it's like, to me, it was like windshield wipers just like opened up my eyes, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I can do this. Like, it can be hard, but it's simple. It truly is. In food, if you eat real food, it's simple. Food should have like one ingredient: black beans.
Food.
But it has so many so many complex, minerals and enzymes, they're found inside those things. So just keep it simple, keep it real. I like that tagline.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think that's important.
Well, on that note, I think we're about ready to wrap it up.
We're wrapping it up over here. What a great episode for all of our listeners. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're inspired. I hope you learned something new. I sure did. Thank you so much to our wonderful guests, Caroline and Rebecca, for joining us and educating all of us on nutrition in dance on this week's episode. And how our guests always lead us out is with one final thought on the topic. You can talk to whoever you'd like. You can speak to dance teachers, studios, conventions, and competitions. You can speak to the parents, the dancers themselves, when it comes to our topic, nutrition and dance. Final thought.
I have one. This is going to go towards dance studios. I think, especially with long rehearsal days, what I'm seeing a lot is we're just cramming the days, full of classes, rehearsals back to back. So, just from my time working with dancers, that are in these very competitive studios, I want to challenge y'all to include some sort of gap where dancers are able to fuel their bodies. It's not, 10 minutes. It's longer, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, where they can get some nutrition in, digest a little bit, and, get some energy back in their system. So they're able to stay focused, stay on task, take those corrections, and really learn and apply themselves without feeling super depleted by the end of the day.
I love that. And I 100% agree, Rebecca. I think my message then I'll leave for the parents. I think it starts with us. It starts with us and it begins with us. So we need to make sure that if we are going to be helping and guiding these artistic athletes, or your soccer player, your volleyball player, your dancer, that if we're going to be encouraging them to fuel their bodies differently, then we need to do the same thing for ourselves. Do it as a family. Empower yourself, empower your husband, empower your partner, empower the family to do it together. Because at the end of the day, when you have the whole unit doing it, whether that's a studio, whether that's, your convention dance family, right, Courtney? If you all do it together, it just makes it easier. It makes it more fun. And then it inspires the kids. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to empower them, inspire them, motivate them to have longevity, prevention, a great dance career, whatever, their next path in life is. So I would say just, if you're going to talk the talk, you need to walk the walk.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode all about nutrition in dance. Special shout out to our guests for joining us. Don't forget to follow them on Instagram. You can find Caroline at @CLineLewisJones and Rebecca at dancer.nutritionist.
Don't forget to follow Making the Impact on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and pretty much everywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you want more exclusive episodes, support our podcast by joining our Platinum Premium membership for only $5 a month. Subscribers receive free Making the Impact stickers, shout-outs live on the air, ad-free listening, and exclusive access to our Q&A episodes for members only. Join now at impactdanceeducators.com/platinum premium or click the link in our show notes.
Making the Impact, a dance competition podcast, will be hosting a live podcast event in the heart of New York City at the Capizio flagship store in Times Square. Mark your calendars for Saturday, March 30th, 2024, and join us live in person for a jam-packed day of dance fun, freebies, and more. Our live podcast recording is completely free to attend, and all attendees will receive a swag bag sponsored by Capizio, Making the Impact exclusive merchandise, and coupons from our sponsors. Meet your hosts Courtney and Lesley at the live event and ask questions from the audience during our Q&A recording all about the dance industry and the competitive dance world. Dancers, teachers, studio owners, professionals, parents, and all dance lovers are welcome to attend. And for all the dancers out there, we can't host a dance event without a dance class. I will be kicking off the event by teaching a 1-hour jazz class for ages 9 and up, overlooking Times Square in a beautiful New York City dance studio. Pre-registration for class is now open. After the live recording, it's time to mix, mingle, and shop. Take photos with Courtney and Lesley, network with the NYC dance community, and stock up on your dance season favorites with Capizio. We can't wait to bring our live podcast to New York City and would like to thank Capizio for sponsoring this event. RSVP now and register for class at the link in our show notes. And don't forget to spread the word and share with other dance friends and fans who would like to attend this free event.
We are on a roll in Season 5 with some excellent episodes coming your way, including advice from veteran dance parents and an episode focusing on concert dance.
Happy comp season! We'll see you next week. Until then, keep dancing.